Hi and welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is a bit of a spontaneous video for me and I think I'm gonna do a writing vlog. It's Saturday, so on Saturdays I always like to, because I work full time, get as much writing done as possible, but like without pushing it too far, because I do find if I'm like, oh, I wanna write 5 chapters this weekend, they end up being like A, either really rubbish chapters, or B, I get frustrated because I get writer's block and then I can't do it, and then I go into a meltdown of like, oh my god, I can never be a writer. So I thought maybe vlogging my writing might help me to feel a bit of inspiration, but also to focus, because then I can't get distracted by TikTok or my current read or anything like that. So my plan of action for today is I've just gone on a dog walk with Lola and I picked up Starbucks, and I'm hoping that this will give me the fuel I need to focus and write maybe 1 or 2 chapters today. I have to say, I did get the pumpkin cream cold brew, and every time I get their cold brew, it's literally like rocket fuel. It's way too strong. And so I came home and I put more milk in it, and I'm still like, oh my god. So hopefully this means that I will be fueled up, caffeinated to write at least 1 chapter. I'm aiming for 2. So to give a bit of background as to like my writing journey and where I'm at with that, I am currently a self-published author. I've self-published 2 books in the same series. The first book was my debut novel. It's called Complicated You. Royalties go to charity if you want to pick that up. And this third book, my main aim is to get it traditionally published. I'm probably like, I think I'm about halfway through the book, but it's like quite a challenging book for me. So the genre that I write is romance fiction. The first 2 books that I've written, Complicated You and Complicated Us, are both new adult romance fiction set in university, and it's kind of weaving in mental health struggles a lot. That's one of the biggest things that I do in every single book that I write, is I want mental health representation in it, because I myself have been diagnosed with depression and anxiety, and I've struggled with that since the age of 13, I think. So a very long time. And so it's really important for me to like, I basically write the books that I want to read, and that's ones that contain the representation that maybe I've experienced in my life and that I want to see. So yeah, I started off writing in lockdown, and I only really write for myself. I self-published because the books were finished and my friends really wanted to read them, as did like my family. And so I thought, if I self-published them on a budget, that whole experience taught me so much. And so maybe I'll do a separate video on it actually. But this third book, now that I've made mistakes in my first 2 books, I've explored writing and I've seen the process from the beginning to the end. I want to set my sights higher, and my ambition is to become a fully published author, traditionally published I should say. So I'm writing this third book and I'm spending loads of time on it. It's really hard balancing it with working full time, and I work quite like a demanding job in London. So finding time to do that on top of competitively cheerleading, I should also say, has been a struggle. And so I sort of spend my Saturdays carving out like an afternoon to write. I basically get up in the mornings, take Lola for a walk, get a coffee, write a few chapters, and then read another book in the evening. And so that's what my day is going to look like today. So I thought if I vlog it, that might help keep me motivated. Oh my god, how embarrassing for me. I didn't realise I had my sunglasses on my head. Sorry about that. Before I get into the vlog, I thought maybe it would be a good thing to sort of talk through what my book is about, this book that I'm writing, the title of it, maybe try and talk about it. I really struggled to summarise my books, but I'll give it my best shot. So after doing my first 2 books, I kind of wanted a challenge. And so the first book that I've ever written, which was my debut novel, was single POV. Then I added a challenge into the second book, which was dual POV. And that was challenging, like getting 2 characters' voices and trying to make them a bit distinguishable. And I really loved that. Like every book I write, I'm now trying to like challenge myself further. And so this third book, it's a complete standalone. It's nothing to do with that series. I've said goodbye to that series now. But this book is, I think it's a standalone, and the title of it is Why You're Gone. And it basically follows a character called August, and she moves up to a town, like a lakeside town in North England, and you don't know why she's moved. She's moved from London, and the book kind of explores that mystery, and she keeps her cards quite close to her chest, when she meets her love interest called Drew, and he has his own like family struggles, and you're trying to like, as you read the present day, you're trying to identify what August's past is like, but also the struggles that Drew faces with his younger sister, Kit. The challenge in this book is trying to write about a kid who's 7 years old, because I don't really know any 7-year-olds. So my friend who's a mum, I message her and I'm like, does this sound accurate for a 7-year-old? So that's a challenge, and that's something that it's been really nice learning about. But also the added like angle for me is the fact that it flips between present day and August's past, and the reader is trying to piece it together, and it's getting the balance right of not giving too much away in present day, but also giving the reader enough to grip them and keep them coming back for more. It's also about sort of August's struggle with her own mental health in dealing with her past and her present day. So yeah, that's kind of the premise of the book. It's basically some of the tropes are like, oh, careful. So the main tropes in the book are small town romance, single dad trope kind of, golden retriever, male character, he falls first, I think are the 4 main tropes I'll give you. There might be some others. I haven't like added a single bed trope or anything yet, but maybe I will. So I'm sort of playing with that at the moment. Like I said, I'm about halfway through. I write on Scrivener and I still can't figure out how to work out how many words I've written so far. I can see each page count in each chapter, but I don't know the total yet, which is actually quite good because it means I'm just writing what comes to my head as I feel like it. And so I'm spending so much time getting this book right because, like I said, I want to traditionally publish it. So I will be quiet now and get on with the vlog. This is the chapter that I wrote last weekend, and so my plan of attack is to read it to get back into like the story before then writing the next part. That's kind of the approach that I take with writing because of working full time. Those 5 days, I don't even touch my book. Sometimes I might read a chapter at the end of each day, but I'm normally so tired. My sort of ritual with getting back into the world that I'm writing is I'll at least read 1 to 2 chapters before I then write the next scene. And when I finish writing, so today, hopefully I'll finish writing 1 or 2 chapters, I will know what the next chapter will be for next weekend before I wrap up, and then I can think about it over the week. So that's kind of my plan, because I did find the issue I had was when I was just writing straight from memory, like what I wanted to do, because I don't plan each section, I just let the characters do what they want. The issue I have is that sometimes when something's really important to me, I'm like, oh, I want this character to say this one thing, or I want to get this across. I'll then be so adamant, I would have forgotten that I'd said it 5 chapters before, and so then scenes can either become super on the nose or super repetitive, and then that's quite a big editing challenge to remove that repetitiveness. So I always like to read what I've written before getting back into it, and then I can tweak a few things as I go, but without spending too much time on it, because that is also a procrastination tactic I do, is that I will edit, because I love editing. I edit other people's novels as well. That's kind of what I do as a side hustle. And I will edit way more than actually writing, because that's the challenge. That's the creative challenge, is actually writing a fresh chapter. And I'm procrastinating now because I keep talking instead of just getting the frick on with it. So I'm gonna head outside and hopefully it's not too cold. Okay, so I'm actually super sad that it got really cold sitting out on the balcony, but I read through the chapter I wrote last weekend and I was enjoying reading it, which I feel like is a really good sign. And now I'm starting the next chapter. I've just written 169 words, so I'm hoping this chapter is about 2,000 words long, so I will update you as I go. I actually have no idea. I've written the first paragraph and now I have no idea where this is going to take me. I've got like a vague outline of what I want to happen, but anything could happen. These characters could take me anywhere. I'm also really hungry. I feel like writing makes me want to snack so much, but I have no good snacks in the house. I've got 6 hours of cheer training tomorrow, so I need to save all my snacks for that. Oh, ignore my nails. Maybe I'll go downstairs and get some snacks. Am I just procrastinating? I think I'm just procrastinating. So within the past like hour to 2 hours, I have read through an old chapter and written 1,066 words of a new chapter. I feel like I need a bit of a break. I think that cold brew has literally, it's made me have caffeine shakes and I just need to take a break. So I think I'm gonna either read or watch telly for a bit and then I'm gonna get back to this. So I'm halfway through this chapter. So once the caffeine has left my system, a little bit more because it's a little bit too intense right now, I'm then gonna try and finish this chapter and hopefully maybe make a start on the next one. I love that I stopped filming to go and have a TV break and then I ended up thinking of a line for the book in my head, and about 700 words later I've now finished the chapter. So classic. So now I'm going to watch TV and have a break whilst I think about what I want the next chapter to be, because I have a few ideas. It's the biggest struggle with like a brand new book is pacing and knowing whether you've got the pace of the story right or wrong, but I guess that's what like editing the draft is all about, so I need not stress. Okay, so it's just after 4 o'clock and I have finished one chapter and a little bit of the second one. I got to just over 1,700 words for the brand new chapter that I wrote, and then for the chapter that follows on, I've written about 300 words of it. I've written like the beginning section of it, but I want to sit and think about what's going to happen in the rest of the chapter, because I'm at that weird point in the book where I'm at like the middle to the end of the big climax. I really struggle to write in that and fill it with like intentional plot and not just like filler chapters, because I know what's about to happen and that's where all the drama is about to happen. So it's kind of the build up to that. And so I've got a few ideas and I've bullet pointed them, but I think I'm going to give myself the rest of today to think about it. As soon as I stopped recording, I thought of a really good scene in my head. So I'm going to write that now. Classic me. So an hour later and I can officially wrap this vlog up because I have finished half of the second chapter. I've written 1,000 words and it's a chapter break, and I want to think about the next part of the chapter and where the scene is going to go and how it's going to play out between the two characters. But I feel like I've done enough today and I feel creatively tired. So that is the end of my first ever writing vlog. Let me know if you enjoyed it in the comments and see you in the next video.